lot happened this weekend in Trump's America, and here's a quick roundup on the latest challenges to democracy. On Thursday, a federal judge issued a restraining order forbidding arrests of journalists at ICE protests. But on Friday, TV news producer Debbie Brockman was violently detained by ICE agents in Chicago. The video showed masked officers slamming her to the ground and handcuffing her. She then cried out, "I work for WGN, please let them know." So she clearly identified herself as press. Witnesses said she was just filming the raid, posing no threat. Now, she was released a few hours later and no charges were filed. But does it need saying that journalists shouldn't have to fear being tackled and thrown into vans by the government for just doing their job? Also on Friday, US Senators Dick Durbin and Tammy Duckworth were denied access to an ICE detention centre in Illinois. Members of Congress have a legal right and a duty to inspect such facilities. And Senator Durbin has been visiting that exact centre for 19 years and said this was the first time he's ever been turned away. Meanwhile, the FBI is being repurposed. New data have revealed that nearly half of FBI agents in major field offices have been reassigned to immigration enforcement. So agents who normally tackle cybercrime, terrorism and corruption are now seconded to ICE. Current and former FBI officials warn that this is weakening the Bureau day by day. So moving on from immigration to undermining democracy. Firstly, on Friday, the administration laid off thousands of federal workers, and Trump boasted that he was following through on his threat to cut the workforce. He then called the firings in departments such as public health and education Democrat-oriented. Now, to be clear, Trump is breaking political norms by using the shutdown as an excuse to permanently shrink government in line with his political agenda. Then, following on from spurious indictments against perceived Trump enemies James Comey and Letitia James last week, federal prosecutors are now poised to indict former National Security Advisor John Bolton for his handling of classified material. Bolton was fired by Trump in 2019, and then he wrote a scathing book about Trump in 2020. Now, Trump is blatantly calling on the Department of Justice and his Attorney General to prosecute his enemies. He's doing it on social media in plain view, and the Department of Justice is following through on it. And to be clear, Nixon was impeached for a lot less. In a late-night social media rant on Saturday, Trump literally blamed the January 6th riots on the Biden FBI, claiming 274 agents were embedded in the crowd to provoke violence. Now, this is a totally false conspiracy theory. Biden wasn't even in office on January the 6th, Trump was. And in fact, the FBI and a partisan congressional investigation both found zero evidence that federal agents instigated the riot. And finally, Trump's 19-year-old son Barron is tipped for a top job at TikTok. Now, Trump is saying, "I saved TikTok, so you owe me," where you are all American users of TikTok. And apparently the price is a plum job for his son. And apart from the blatant corruption, the fact is that this also puts the most loyal of Trump loyalists at the head of a hugely influential social media platform, and that is even more worrying. So for links to news stories for these actions and more, head to trumpactiontracker.info. And just to say that this weekend we passed 1,500 recorded actions since January 2025.